What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our very first episode of the David and Goliath podcast. I'm your host, Cody, my co host, Dalton. We are here to bring you all sports, politics, gaming, really anything that's on our mind today, or just anything like that. Anything that we can think of that would be cool to talk about, we'll bring up in these podcasts. And honestly, the first topic I want to talk about is Tom Brady not retiring and deciding to come back and play another year at least for the Buccaneers. What do you think about that, Dalton?
What do I think about that?
Yeah. What do you think about Tom Brady?
Well, um, I'm personally not a Tom Brady fan, but that being said, Tom Brady is obviously the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, and it's not really a debate anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Much respect to that man. Even with him wanting to come back and play another year, obviously he doesn't have to. He's already cemented his legacy. He's already known as the GOAT of football. So, he really doesn't have anything more to prove other than just, adding on to his accolades and just being great.
speaking of accolades, I actually have those in front of me right here: 15-time Pro Bowl, 3-time All Pro, 7-time SB champ, 2007 NEA MVP. Uh, and the list just goes on and on. I mean,
And you got to think last season he rushed for the most yards in his career last year. Like that's just insane. Like you would think someone that's older, up in age, not wanting to,
he's 44 years old, man.
yeah, not wanting to
44.
scramble out of the pocket like that and take those risks. But I mean, he did, and it paid off. Got him to the playoffs. So I mean, it's just insane what he can do. And honestly, I don't expect him to retire a Buccaneer. I don't. What do you think about that? Do you think he would do that, or he would go back to the Patriots and do it?
You know, honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going through this man's mind at this point, and I don't think anybody else does either,
Oh yeah,
because the man's 44 years old and decided to continue to play in the National Football League. Um, it's just something that you don't hear about. Uh,
yeah.
people don't play in the NFL that long. Uh, it's insane.
I,
He's insane.
I mean, when the first rumors came out of him retiring, that would have made Whitworth, who played for the Rams, the oldest player in the NFL, and he retired. Not, I think it was yesterday. He decided to. Well, technically said it after the Super Bowl, but I think he officially came out and said it yesterday. So like, now Tom Brady coming back, he's just like he's still the oldest player, and he's still doing great things with his career, and it's impressive to see. It really is.
I think a lot of it has to do with the advancements in sports medicine
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
today. I mean, you look at in other sports, in particular, LeBron James in the NBA. I mean, how old is LeBron now? What is he?
37, I want to say.
37,
I want to say.
36, 37 years
Yeah.
old, and still putting up 50 points in an
Back to
NBA game.
back. Back to
Yeah,
back. That's
that,
impressive.
that just goes to show the advancements in sports medicine and how it can prolong these guys' professional careers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Especially playing such like contact sports too.
right, especially in Brady's case. I mean, he's in the NFL,
Yeah.
which people say that the league is a lot softer than it used to be. Which I'm the same. I'm in the same
Mm-hmm.
boat. I agree. It's
Yeah.
definitely softer, but it's still football. You still get hit, and he's a quarterback for crying out loud. So you know that he's
He's
taking
the
hits.
number one target.
Exactly.
Like their goal is to get him. So to be able to sustain the hits that he's taken over his career and to be able to still play at such a high level at such a high age, it's just mind blowing. And who knows what he's gonna do next season? I mean, it's just going to be insane to watch, and I'll be along for the ride. I'll be watching for sure. What did you think of the couple of the free agent moves that have been going on? Not only in like the NFL, but I know the Steelers signed Mitchell Trubisky, which is personally my favorite football team, and I think Mitch is gonna bring. I don't know how to put it because he's such a kind of hit or miss quarterback, in my opinion. But he's better than Mason Rudolph. I mean, that's all I can say. It's an upgrade either way you look at it. With Big Ben retiring, I mean, great career, good guy. Hats off to him. So I mean, hopefully Mitchell Trubisky can come in, step up, and bring the Steelers at least to the playoffs and make a good run. Anything that you've seen that's caught your eye with any of that stuff?
Honestly, I haven't really been keeping up with the league that much. I've been on an NBA kick,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, so I would like to see the Steelers be able to come back and actually do
Compete.
something in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it'd be a breath of fresh air. Trust me. And
I was a huge Palomalu fan, so
oh
I've
yeah.
been a Steelers fan for a minute.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I seen today that kind of blew my mind, but the more I look at it, it really shouldn't have, was the Titans releasing Julio Jones. And I think he only played like one or two downs last season for the Titans, but that's still like in my opinion, he's still a really top caliber receiver that's on the open market right now. That kind of blew my mind. So we'll segue to you said you've been watching a lot of NBA. So what have you been thinking about the things that have been going on in Brooklyn with Kyrie?
Well, quite frankly, it's a bit ridiculous that they fined this man $50,000
Yeah.
for walking into his team's locker room.
Yep. That
Are you serious?
that's kind of dumb. It's really confusing to have him courtside and not let the man play, right? Like I seen a thing on Twitter the other day, and I don't know if I'll be able to snag it and put it up on screen for you all, but that the arena, you did not have to be vaccinated, all right? Like I don't think to go in and watch the game, but to play in the game, you had to be. And I just think that is the most mind blowing
That's
thing in the world.
hypocrisy. That's
It's
hypocrisy, is what that is.
exactly. It's just weird. It's weird to see that. But I mean, heck, in the last it's been like a week. We've seen LeBron with two 50-point games, Kyrie with was it 60, Cat 60. Like
But
it's
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with these guys. I don't know what's got into them, but they're exploding.
yep. I,
Honestly, I think a lot of Kyrie scoring that 60 points was he's letting out a lot of frustration.
oh yeah, big time. Mm-hmm.
He was letting them know that he is still here and that he is still one of the best point guards in this league, and he was going to show them.
And
He was showing everybody.
I think that's LeBron's case too. You know, I mean the Lakers
Same,
are
yeah.
very lackluster to put it in
They,
a
they
light way.
suck. I mean, let's
be
let's
frank,
be honest.
they suck. I mean,
They're trash.
but
I don't know what's
him
wrong
coming
with
out,
Russell Westbrook.
him coming out and scoring 50 twice in a row is being like, hey, I still got this. The team just can't keep up with me. I think that's how it is. In Westbrook, all this drama going on with him, man, it's just that front office and Rob Pelinka, and it's a shit show to be honest. It really is.
They should have got rid of Westbrook while they still had the opportunity to. I know nobody seemed to really want him, but they should have just made something happen because Listen, I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook is a terrible basketball player because obviously he's not. He's in the league. Uh, he's a big name. He's done incredible
Mm-hmm.
things on the court. There's no question about that. He's Mr. Triple Double, and people can call him a Pat Statter or whatever. I don't care. That's still impressive.
Yeah.
But uh, his game does not work with LeBron James because
Nope.
LeBron James is the playmaker wherever he goes. That is his role. That is what he does. And Russell Westbrook needs to have the ball in his hands, and it just doesn't work. You
And
can't have two ball dominant players on the same court like that.
exactly.
Usually,
It
usually.
sometimes it works. Sometimes it's an anomaly, but it works sometimes.
With the Brooklyn Nets, for example, they shipped Harden off and they got Ben Simmons. Um, I think Durant and Kyrie have kind of made it up in their mind that they're willing to take a step back, do whatever they got to do
Mm-hmm.
on the court. So, and if that's the case, then they will have success. I feel like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like with Russell Westbrook, I don't think he's understood that he's not even the second option on that team. It's LeBron, then it goes Davis, and then
Right.
it's Westbrook.
Unfortunately, Davis has been
Yeah,
made of glass
yeah.
of late, and he just can't stay healthy. I hate that because I'm an Anthony Davis fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean that's just another chink in the armor of the LA Lakers. You know,
Yep.
that Davis is down, Westbrook and LeBron are not syncing together. Uh, they have a bunch of old players, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
A lot of veterans.
I don't.
A lot.
Yeah, it's not a cohesive unit. At least it doesn't seem like it on the court.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's not looking good for LeBron James. Uh,
At least not this year.
I don't even know. I don't know if he's going to stay in LA.
Uh,
To be honest,
be honest, where would he go? Where'd you?
I
My honest opinion, and this is coming from a fan of the organization because I love the organization. I would honestly like to see him go back to Miami.
you want him to go back to Miami.
Back to Miami. I think
Well, that would be something, wouldn't it?
I think if they can somehow swindle their way to keep people like Hero, Bam, keep that core three of Hero, Bam, and Butler, and maybe ship Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, and a couple picks, and ship that off for Cap to be able to bring in LeBron, that would be that'd be a
Well, I mean,
really strong team.
if LeBron really wanted to, he could take a minimum contract and go wherever he
True,
pleased.
true, he
But
could.
now, if I was LeBron James, that's what I would do because I would want to win as many rings as I possibly could because the man, he's already set in stone as
Oh
one of
yeah,
the greatest.
oh
There's
yeah.
no question. Nobody can debate that. He is one of the goats, and I
Mm-hmm.
think there are many goats.
Exactly.
He is one of them.
He's the
Uh,
he's the go to this generation for
exactly.
sure.
If it was me, if I was LeBron James, I would go wherever I felt like I would fit in the greatest,
Mm-hmm.
take a pay cut, and win some basketball games.
Exactly. And
Now I don't know if he's going to do that,
it,
but
it, it would, I don't think it would look bad. Okay, because Miami's the number. I think they're either number one or tied for the number one seed in the East. Would it look bad on LeBron to say leave the Lakers, who's pretty sucky right now, and go to a team like that? Would people obviously people are gonna hate LeBron. You know, there's LeBron haters, all this stuff, and they would use that to say, oh, he left this team just to go form basically a super team. I mean, in retrospect, it kind of would be, but I mean, I think he goes well with Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley. If you're in that Pat Riley system, you're a dog, and you are gonna work your hardest. And you see that with the players that they have now: Jimmy Butler, Bam, Tyler Hero. In the last two games, is averaging I think 30 points. He put up like 32 one game, and then 26 or 25 the next. Like he,
I
I
agree
mean,
100%. Pat Riley is he's one of the goats as
mm-hmm.
far as organization standpoint and as a coach as well.
Yep.
Uh,
And
the Heat are actually the number one seed. right now.
That's a big thing too, because Eric Spoelstra has coached LeBron before,
Right,
so
right,
he
and they would have
knows,
that chemistry.
and he knows what to do with him and how to use him
Exactly.
to his potential.
The Miami Heat right now are 46-24. They
Mm-hmm.
are 2.5 games ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks right now. So, I mean, the Heat they're getting it done.
Yep,
Uh,
they're doing.
I mean, there's a good chance that the Heat come out of the Eastern Conference and make it to the finals.
That would be very
It's going to be
nice.
hard to. It'll be hard to stop Giannis.
Oh yeah.
That's what they got to do. They got to get past the Bucks and the Sixers if they can.
I think you can sacrifice someone like Jimmy Butler or someone like Bam or someone like that to play as hard. I mean, go 110% on defense. If Oladipo can come back and show that he's even close to what he was,
To what he was.
because he'll if he's close to what he was, he'll give you 20, 25 a night.
Yeah, he's a bad man. When he was healthy, he was a bad man.
Exactly.
Sure.
I think they could sacrifice that, and I think that would give them the edge over Milwaukee.
It's all about stopping Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. He's such the Greek freak.
Yep.
The Greek freak,
He's insane.
a savage on the court. The modern day Shaquille O'Neal. Just like Shaq said, man, that's Superman right there.
Exactly. Everyone said you need a jumper. You need to be able to do that. He said no. He said I don't.
He said I don't need that at all.
He won a ring. He won a ring with playing how he plays. Like he could have gave into the criticism. He could have been okay. I'm gonna go in the off season just working on my jumper, just working on this, just working. But he didn't. He worked it on his craft, what he was good at.
I mean he has worked on it some because it's definitely better than it was.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he can
step out.
Focused.
That 18-foot jumper, he's got that down pretty consistently. Now the threes are still questionable, but he's made progress as far as.
And I think as he goes up in age, he's gonna start working on that too.
Right. This is part of the game, man.
Yeah.
You gotta develop a jumper as you get older because you ain't gonna be able to dominate. Exactly. Nobody can beat Father Time.
Yep. So I think he will, and I think the Bucks will be around for 5-6 more years, competing, as long as Giannis decides to.
I agree. The Lakers. Going back to the Lakers. The Lakers are the 9th seed in the Western Conference. They are 29-39.
So they'd be in playing game.
They might not even make the playoff.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think, man. This team was so
hyped.
Yes.
Hyped up, out of their minds. Hyped up.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true.
And I mean, I get it because it's 3 huge names. It's LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis. And then on top of that, you throw in little pieces like Carmelo Anthony. I know he's old, but yeah. I mean, I get it. I get why people were hyping him up, but I never thought that the Westbrook and LeBron thing was going to work. I'll be honest. Now, LeBron and AD, that works.
Yeah.
Because AD can play off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it just works. It works well. But like I said earlier, Westbrook has to have the ball in his hands. He can't play off the ball. He's just not made that way. That's not his game.
Nope.
Honestly, I think that's why he never won a chip in OKC. They came close.
Mm-hmm.
Like they almost got it, but they had 3 ball dominant players on the same team, and it didn't work.
It was just, and yeah, that OKC team was so good, and we took it for granted. Like a lot
We
of people
did.
took that team.
Everybody took that for granted. That was a great team.
Yes, it was. And I mean, you can look back on it. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. Like, if that team was together, like if Harden had his skill now that he had, like back then, being a 6.
Well, he was just beginning. He was just beginning to blossom. He was just starting to come out to his own.
Exactly.
Same with Serge Ibaka. I mean, look how far Serge Ibaka came as a player after that. When he came into the league, he was nothing but a rim protector and a rebounder. and now he's out there shooting corner threes. Like
It's
he's
crazy how
become a
people
stretch
evolve.
big.
It's crazy. It's so cool to see it too. It's really impressive, like to grow up and to watch these players, and to grow up and see the players that we're gonna see coming in that are like Jalen Green or like Lamelo or Zion.
Yeah,
Hopefully he gets back on the court soon. Like just
the league
to
is in
see these
very good
players.
hands.
Yes, so because you got the wow factor with like Lamelo and Charlotte, and you got the scores with like Jalen Green, and then you got just like the completely dominant powerhouses like Zion. So you got the pieces there to keep the league going with three different types of players that people can get behind and watch.
And you
Like,
can't forget about my man Luka Doncic.
yeah, Luca. Luca's
He's young,
insane.
like he's young. How old is Luka? What is he? 22,
He's
23, 22,
23.
22.
Yeah, he's around that age. It's insane.
He's still just a baby, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not even he ain't even hit his prime yet. And look what he's doing.
Exactly.
Ah,
What about like team like Chicago? What do you think about them with that team they put
listen,
together?
The Bulls, they are 41-27, and DeMar DeRozan is playing out of his mind. Like
And
he could win MVP this season.
and you got to
That's how
think
good he's playing.
that's without their point guard. That's without Lonzo right now because he's hurt.
Exactly.
He's hurt.
That's without that defensive dog, Lonzo
Exactly.
Ball, out on the court.
Caruso coming back was a big thing for them too. Like him coming
Yeah,
back
I'm
from
I'm
injury and playing
glad.
as good as he was.
I'm a
That's
fan of Caruso. I'm glad he's back.
oh yeah, he's such a good player. And like I like correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always had this like hypothesis that people that play around LeBron, like Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, players like that, shine more when they're out of LeBron's shadow. Like you look at Brandon Ingram going to New Orleans, doing what he's doing, insanely talented now. Like one of the coldest players when it comes to just if you need a bucket, give it to him and he gets it for you. Kuzma's, I think he's gonna do that in Washington, and like Caruso, obviously being on the Bulls, like it's it, like I don't nothing to take away from LeBron, but I just think how he plays, players like that are really good with the ball in their hands just did not have the light to shine because LeBron had the spotlight there and was doing the things that they're now doing on separate teams.
I mean, I agree to a certain extent. I agree. He definitely LeBron James definitely hogs the spotlight wherever he's at because
Mm-hmm.
he's LeBron James.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the biggest name in basketball.
Exactly.
You know, people who don't even watch the sport, when
Know
you
him.
say LeBron James, they
Mm-hmm.
know exactly who you're talking about.
Yep.
But with that being said, I do think that LeBron James makes his teammates better. I think they grow as players when they play with LeBron James. And I think that that's why when a lot of them end up leaving and going and playing for other teams without LeBron James,
They
that they
shine.
start to shine
Yeah.
because they've grown as a player.
I understand that. Yep.
Maybe not in Ingram's case. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure he had some impact on Ingram, because he's LeBron. I'm sure he got some advice from LeBron
Mm-hmm.
while he was on the Lakers. But
Yeah.
Ingram is nice, man.
He
Like
he's
he,
he's like he's like a budget KD kind of
I mean,
tall, lengthy, can shoot, can take it to the rack, can defend at a decent rate. Like
he's a very versatile player, and yeah.
exactly.
He reminds me a lot of Kevin Durant. His game is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a little bit of a better defender than Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
But I think that's because Kevin Durant doesn't really try on defense. He's kind of like Harden in that standpoint. He just kind of he gives everything he's got on offense and saves
Yeah.
his energy for that.
Yeah. That
So
and I mean in that kind of a player's case, it's smart to do that.
right, it makes sense.
Yeah. We understand that. Everyone harps on the they need defense, they need defense. Really, if you have a dominant offensive player and you have good defensive pieces around him, they
It
don't
works.
need to play the defense sometimes.
So the past 2 weeks, right, there have been 6 games of at least 50 points.
That's
Kyrie
crazy.
Irving, LeBron James, Irving scoring 50 and 60, LeBron James 50 and 56, Jason Tatum scoring 54, Kevin Durant 53, uh, Steph Curry had 47, 47 and 46 for Trey Young, 45 for Jordan Clarkson, 44 for Josh Hart and De'Aaron Fox,
Yep.
43 for Giannis, Joel Embiid, uh, also had 43, 41 for Darius Garland, and Nikola Jokic dropping 40. I mean, what's going on, man?
Everyone's stepping it up, man. In the later half of the season, they're just like,
Yeah,
here's what we got. See if you
it's
can
that
match it.
playoff push, man. It's the
Exactly.
playoff push.
Mm-hmm.
Happens every year.
Yep. It's so good to see like players like because you said a lot of like Jason Tatum, I heard Darius Garland, like the young players coming out and being
Right.
like, I got this, you know.
Yep.
And then
The,
like De'Aaron Fox, Josh Hart, like they're not afraid to do that.
I don't think De'Aaron Fox gets enough credit, man. He don't get
I
no
don't know.
love. He's a great player.
Oh yeah.
I know that he still got to work on that jumper a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
work on that 3 pointer. But I mean, as far as attacking the lane and defense, man, he's so fast.
He's a
That's one
young
of the fastest dudes in the league.
he's a young Westbrook in his play style. Us like you could see it. His focus is I'm going to the basket and you're not stopping me. Like you're not. Like that's his. I believe that'd be his mindset. How he plays.
I agree that when they bring the double, that's when he kicks it out to the open man.
Exactly. And he's got that awareness to do that in such like a talented player. The Kings. You get some good pieces around that, and you have a really really good playoff team. Really good. Someone that makes some noise for sure in the playoffs. So we're gonna cycle from the NBA. Hit a quick 180 with the sports kind of baseball coming off the kind of lockout kind of deal, I guess you would call it. It was basically another lockout. We'll say that. Uh, and one player in particular that I kind of didn't expect to hear was Freddie Freeman leaving the Atlanta Braves to go to LA. Now I know he's homegrown LA, like he's from LA, but that really surprised me because that Braves team was really good, like really good.
Now, see, when we talking baseball, this is all David right here. Goliath is not a baseball guy.
I mean,
Goliath has no input on baseball whatsoever.
I mean, I'm not really a baseball guy, but seeing this, like, I have a lot of friends that are Braves fans, and when they told me this, it kind of shocked me because Freddy has been the basically the poster of Atlanta Braves baseball, and it kind of surprises me that I heard through the grapevine that the contract that he wanted, the Braves weren't willing to give him because I think he wanted like 6 years at least, and they were only willing to give him 5. And I guess LA said, yeah, we'll give you 6, and you can come home basically. But it kind of, I mean, it's really shocking to me because I'm an Orioles fan when it comes to baseball. So we literally just we sit dormant. We really don't do much. Like we don't. I mean, our draft picks and it's just a cluster up there in Baltimore. But I just wanted to throw that one out there. That was kind of mind blowing to me that he decided to leave that organization. But we'll segue we'll segue into something that some kind of world news, I guess you'd call it, and it's the crisis over in Ukraine. What are your thoughts on that and the craziness that's going on, the craziness that we're living through history right now?
Well, um, personally, and everybody's entitled to believe whatever they like. That's one of the great things about this country, the United States. We still have many freedoms here. I think this is biblical prophecy being fulfilled in front of our eyes because this came out of like complete left field,
Right.
just out of nowhere. Mr. Putin has decided that he wants to take Ukraine. Um, Obviously, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's a good thing. Not a fan of war. I'm a peaceful man, uh, but I think that a lot of people are not taking this as serious as they should,
Yeah.
including world leaders, NATO. I think they believe that Mr. Putin is bluffing, and
Yeah.
I don't believe that's the case at all. When he makes threats of nuclear war, I believe that he means everything that he says. So, what do you think about it?
I, me seeing this, okay, so Ukraine broke away from the USSR, and they kind of formed their own country and everything. You know, it was all voted on. They became their own country. Well, they still the bottom portion of Ukraine was kind of Ukraine and Russian, so they were like half and half. So like technically Russia had it. Technically it was owned by Ukraine, but Russia was controlling it. So I kind of think that Putin was, and this all started back in like 2014, 2015 when they started talking about like, we want it back. And I'm like sitting here, and it's just kind of mind blowing to me that the extreme that it's got to, them actually going and and invading them. And I mean, congrats to Ukraine for holding them off and doing all that they're doing. I hope they keep doing it. I hope they show them that they're not as weak as they thought. Because originally the plan was a 48-hour plan to go in and just sweep it. And obviously that is mind blowing to think. And it was a very stupid thought, I think, by Putin, because it just didn't work. They didn't get anything. I think they got like a portion of the eastern side, but mainly they're over there holding roads. And you're not gonna do much holding roads whenever you got to get cities to get there, and the civilians that are willing to set up defenses there to help out is it's just insane what the Ukrainian people are doing to protect their homeland. And like it kind of it's kind of sad to see it, because like now Russia's got like Syrian people, militias training their soldiers to fight in urban environments, because that's all Ukraine is urban environments. Because I think Russia went in and they kind of got kicked in the teeth by, wow, we don't know what we're doing. Like we just don't know. Like they were ill prepared. They have no gas. They had not enough gas, not enough food, not enough water to go through with the plan. So now I think they're just kind of regrouping and kind of rethinking everything as they're continuing to shell these cities to nothing, which if you're Putin and you're wanting that back, I think that is the dumbest thing you can do, is shell the cities to nothing if you're trying to take it back for yourself. Like
Well, not necessarily, because he could just mow it all down and build
rebuild.
upon that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you got to think with their economy how it is now, how it's hurting now. The long run of, okay, say if you do get Ukraine, how much is it gonna take you to financially just rebuild a whole country if you want to shell it? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I get that, but I I think that Putin is looking at this from a standpoint like, um, I want that land back. Uh, I feel like he wants to resurrect the USSR.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to make that a thing
Yeah.
again, restore it to its former glory. That's what he wants. That's part of the purpose of this. Um, and he's a dangerous man. I do agree that they underestimated the Ukrainian people,
Yep.
because they're fighting for their lives, and when you fight for your life, you fight like an animal.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hold anything back. but because you're fighting for everything, your life is everything.
Exactly.
So, uh, kudos to them for digging their feet in the dirt and standing their ground and taking on the Russian troops. But I'm reading here that the president of Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky, addressed the U.S. Congress, and he actually he's asking for a no-fly zone over Ukraine. And
Mm-hmm.
U.S. lawmakers and the Biden administration apparently do not
No.
agree that that is a good idea.
And I 100% agree with him on that. If you create a no-fly zone over Ukraine, and a Russian fighter gets shot down by a NATO country's anti-air, that will start World War III, and it will. And I've said this from the beginning that it just needs to stay between Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, Belarus is in there. Yeah, they're taking Syrian troops and stuff like this. But
I don't think it's going to stay between those two.
I hope it does, but I don't see it, especially with them. I think it came out today was let me double check what I was reading earlier, but it was these Russian forces purposely destroyed a theater in Mariupol, which is in the far southeastern corner of Ukraine. A theater in Mariupol where civilians were taking shelter, and that's not right. I mean, that's literally a war crime right there, and it was a purpose hit on a civilian area. Like that's just not right. And I do think there does need to be consequences for that, and there should be consequences.
I agree.
And
I agree.
right now, I think that the only thing that we're doing is we're gonna send them more stuff. Like the U.S. is gonna send them more stuff to defend, and I
It
think
says
that's
here
good.
$800 million in security assistance to
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine, and apparently President Biden has vowed to send more weapons. And he also called Mr. Vladimir Putin a war criminal.
Yeah,
He made that statement.
that is true. That is the truth. If you look at the definition of a war criminal, and that is exactly what he did. And
I also am reading that China has decided to send uh, economic aid to Russia.
and
Um,
that did not surprise me. They asked him
me
about
either.
that other day about doing that, and I didn't know if it was going to go through or not. Because, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they're going to help each other out, because it's kind of like the Ukraine and Russia thing. Taiwan is in on this with China right now.
Right.
Taiwan was a part of China, broke off, became their own country, yada yada.
And they want it back.
And they want it back. And I mean,
Yep.
I don't have the mind of a dictator. I don't have the mind of a leader. I don't know what I know what the Ukrainians have that Putin would want. They have, is it 2 or 3 nuclear power plants? One of them being the biggest in Europe.
Yes.
And I understand that. That is, and he wants to flex his nuclear power. Okay. What does Taiwan have that China wants back? Like that's what I don't understand.
Well, I think it's just land. It's just land. There's nothing in Taiwan that I know of that would be of any account as far as like military
Mm-hmm.
For a country. But they want that land back, and they have the same mindset. The leaders of China, they have the same mindset as Putin. I believe that these countries are wanting to have a flashback to the past, the former glory. Well, I mean, China is still, uh, I mean, a very powerful and rich
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
It never really stopped uh, being that way, but I think they they're coming to a point, both of them, where they don't like how things are now, so they've made up in their mind that they're going to change it. And if that means that they have to use force to change it, that they will.
Do you think they're
So
afraid of NATO?
no,
Do
I
you?
don't
I
at all.
I
I
don't.
don't think either one of them are.
I don't think they're afraid, but I think that they're worried that if they don't work together, that NATO and Ukraine potentially joining NATO, and I don't know if Taiwan's anything like considered with NATO. I'm not 100% positive on that one. But do you think that with them, especially it being so close to the Russian border, Ukraine especially, with them joining NATO, would be a big problem for Russia? Because I don't really see it as being a big problem for them anyway, because we were over there training Ukrainian troops and stuff. Like NATO's been training Ukrainian troops for the past 6-7 years.
Right.
Like I don't understand. I don't know. But a thing from the New York Times posted 14 minutes ago. It said, in this conflict, more than 7,000 Russian troops have died since Russia's invasion of Ukraine began. According to the American intelligence estimates, the number is greater than that of American troops who have been killed over 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. And this has been going on for, 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy. That is a crazy stat.
I believe it, though. I do. I believe
Mhm.
that. And this is a whole different ball game here. I mean, if we want to take a trip back to the past, I don't think we ever should have been in Iran and Iraq. I think that was very stupid. We
Mhm.
had no business being there. Was definitely not a fan of President Bush. I thought he was an idiot. I also think that he played a part in 9/11. You can, people that listen, people that are listening, you can call me tinfoil hat
Conspiracies.
wearing some bitch,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I have, I definitely have good reason to believe that he was involved in that. I'm not a fan of the government, if I haven't made that clear already. But no, as far as China and Russia and what's going down, I think that they will form they will come out and there will be an alliance
Yeah.
formed between the two. And I think that this war is going to progress. This is going to become a world war, and I think it will be World War III, the last great war, the war to end all wars.
Yep.
I think this will be the one because all these countries have these nuclear weapons. And here's the thing about war, right? We have NATO, right? All these countries that have come together and formed this pact, saying that they will stand with each other. They
Mhm.
stand on the same principles. We
Yeah.
all want the same thing,
Yeah.
right? But the thing is when war breaks out, things change.
Mhm. Plans
So
change.
who's to say that we can trust all these countries that are in NATO?
Mhm.
What if war breaks out, war starts, all these countries get involved, and all of a sudden, uh, I don't know, Japan. Let's just use Japan. They're right there next to China. They're neighbors.
Mhm.
If you recall, back in the 40s, World War II, we were fighting Japan. Japan was our enemy. Uh, they were very vicious. Uh, Pearl Harbor happened. They bombed us while we were sleeping. They fight dirty.
Mhm.
They're great warriors. Don't get me wrong. They have been since the beginning of time. The people from that land, they're great fighters, but they fight dirty. They do whatever it takes to win. Who's to say that they don't decide that, hey, you know we could get a little payback for World War II. You
Mhm.
know, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
You made us see the sun that day.
Mhm.
How about we return the favor?
Exactly.
I'm just throwing it out there because war makes people do things that you would not expect them to. It's unpredictable. So, you know, who knows, man? Who knows?
It it kind of goes back to the thing of like you said about NATO and how they like if say World War III does start in countries getting invaded by Russia, China, whoever wants to invade this NATO country, and they're asking for assistance. what do you think people would really put their country in a disadvantage by sending another country troops, armor, money, whatever it be, and leaving your country just even a little bit vulnerable? Do you
No,
think they would really
no,
do
they
that?
won't.
Exactly.
No, if they're under the same threat of being invaded, if
Mm-hmm.
they're under the same threat of war, no, they're not gonna send aid. They're gonna
Exactly.
they're gonna look at that and be like, we have to take care of ourselves. Sorry.
Exactly. What if we're next? You know.
Yeah, exactly. And that people people don't understand. To all the listeners out there, if you've never read The Art of War, I would suggest that you pick up a copy and you read it because it's a very important book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it kind of delves into the mind of these military leaders and how they think because they all have read that book, they've studied that book, and they apply that book.
Mm-hmm.
Sun Tzu was a military genius. He's the founding father of war, the founding father of warfare. So um, I recommend to all the listeners out there to pick up a copy of that book and read it. It's a very small book. You get through it very quickly, and it's pretty easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it's just common sense. But that's something that a lot of people nowadays lack,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And this war or crisis or whatever you want to call it over there that's going on in Ukraine is the most documented war that's happened in the past ever. Honestly, we're seeing everything as it happens. You know, a plane gets shot down, a helicopter gets shot down. People have that on video. We can see it. Like it's public knowledge. You can go on YouTube and look it up, look up shorts of it, look up anything, and you see it right there at your own hands. And that's something that we've never seen before. That it's
I,
so widely covered.
we we live in the era of information technology, man. Smartphones
Yep.
everywhere. People capture videos. People snapping photos. We've got
Mm-hmm.
cameras in the sky, man, taking pictures, and you know, it's a different world now.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what it would have been like if we'd have had all this technology back in.
Like that's insane.
It would have been the last war. That would have been the last war right there.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that so many people like growing up now, seeing all this, and it's normal to them. But back like heck, even whenever we were like in Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff like that, it wasn't as documented as this. And that was like
No,
10, 15 years ago almost. Like
we've
it
made
was
such
insane.
advancement in technology, information technology in particular. Uh, I mean, it's astounding. It is. It's impressive, and I think technology. Excuse me, technology. Let me
Yeah.
get it out. I'll get it out in a minute. Technology is great. Uh, it it makes life simpler in a lot of ways, but I also feel like it hurts us as human beings, and it dampens our ability uh, to be self-reliant. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, that
People
makes
rely
sense.
too much on it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
There are kids growing up today that they don't go outside. They they don't know. Now we, for those of you who don't know, we live in a small part of Kentucky, so we're kind of rednecks when it comes down to it.
Going outside was
Uh,
a daily thing.
right, and we happen to know how to survive off of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, both of us, we know how to hunt, we know how to fish, and that's children around here where we live still get to experience these things, and they grow up learning how to do these things. There's a lot of places in this country that where in big cities where they don't know how to do those things. They
They've
don't
never
know how
held a
to.
gun. They've never held a fishing pole. They've
No,
never done any of that stuff. They've never seen the rural areas outside of just big cities.
exactly. They don't know how to. They don't know how to make things.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They they really. This sounds terrible, but they don't know. They don't know nothing.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. As far as survivability, like it's just not there. Now you can set a smartphone in front of them, and they can tell you how to work that.
Yeah.
You know,
Young
like it's a piece
kids.
of them.
Young kids can
Right?
do it
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
They're
it's
very
crazy.
technologically sound.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I was just talking to somebody the other day about uh, the average IQ in the United States. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna fact check myself, but I believe it's 98.
Wow. That's insane. Cause we, cause like growing up, I was outside a lot of the time. You know, growing up, tobacco fields, hay fields, doing all that stuff, hunt, fish, all the basic stuff that I thought honestly when I was younger everyone knew how to do it because I had done it so much so well. You know, just like I thought everyone just knew how to do this kind of stuff, and like
Right.
gaming has changed my eyes when it comes to meeting people online and people from like I have friends from California and places like that that have never heard of some of the stuff that I've done, and it's like they're like you grew up throwing square bells on a trailer, and I'm like yeah, I'm like I grew up doing that stuff, and it just kind of was mind blowing to them that like that's how I grew up. It was so different from them doing things how they did it over there.
Right. I mean, it's like daylight and dark. Man. That that just goes to show this is the U.S. is a large country and it's very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most diverse country in the world, and I think that's great. Uh, you know, I think it's great that people can live their lives however they choose to. Freedom is
Yeah.
awesome. I'm all for it. But uh, I also think that um, the educational system is very flawed. They don't teach children in this country what they should teach children in this country, and that's why the average IQ, and I have fact checked this, is 98. And that was 2018. The average IQ was 98. I'm sure it's probably less now.
Probably.
Um, uh, and just for the listeners, so they know, below 70, 70 and below is considered mental retardation, and 130 and above is considered exceptionally intelligent.
Yeah.
So, um,
It,
and the average is 98.
it
That
it's
how many people are in this country?
it's kind of
I don't even know.
crazy. It's kind of crazy that you like brought up the educational system because probably how some of the stuff you were taught is a lot different from some of the stuff that I was taught, and I was a grade behind you. Like
Right,
how it's
right. Yeah.
separated. It's so crazy to think that. No, like sitting back and thinking about that, it's like wow.
There are 329.5 million people in the United States. 329 million.
That's
The average IQ is 98.
that's crazy to think.
That is not good.
No, it's no, it's not. I mean, yeah, that's very true. Which I
That
was
is not
never.
good.
Which I mean, when I was in school, I was never really a book smart, face of the book kind of student.
But did you apply yourself?
I applied
Did
myself
you?
to certain things. Like I was more of a technical student. I liked stuff like welding, but that's
You have
again
a
how I
mechanical
was.
mind.
Yeah, I was a mechanical person, and
Well, that you have to be intelligent to have a mechanical
yeah,
mind because a lot of people can't like open up something that they order off the internet, and put it together.
yeah,
So a lot of people can't do that.
yeah, that's true.
So uh, now I'm looking at the average IQ of other countries here, and just to compare us to other countries, Hong Kong's average is 108. That's their average.
Wow, that's
That's
impressive.
substantially higher than
Yeah,
the
that's
United States.
impressive. That's really
That
impressive.
is that's very impressive.
Yeah,
Singapore is 108. That's the top two. That's one and two. and
That's
then
pretty.
Taiwan is number 3 with 106. That is their average.
That's cool. That's really really unique. I mean,
The Asian countries, man, I mean, it's a stereotype, but it's the truth. Man. These
yeah,
Asian people, they are very intelligent,
yes,
and they
very much
apply
so.
themselves. They're very hard workers, and that's why they're so smart. They give it everything they have.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yep. And that's not just in like the books and stuff. Like I'm a big fan, and we'll transition this to gaming. I'm a very big fan of like video games, competitive video games, stuff like that, and like
right.
seeing like I watch League of Legends for example, and the amount of talent that is in like Korea and stuff like that is
It's insane.
margins above anything we have over here. It's crazy how they it's basically a lifestyle that they sit down and chose. Okay, I'm doing this and I'm perfecting my craft and I'm putting 110% effort at this. And
Yes.
it's mind blowing the differences you see just in that. Like it's crazy. But we'll transition into video games here. What video games have you been playing lately?
Well, lately, I just got back into playing World of Warcraft. As you know,
Yep.
Cody's known me for quite some time. He knows that I've played WoW pretty much since it
Mm-hmm.
came out.
Yep.
Uh, so I just now got my subscription back on that. I've been playing that a little bit, and then over on the PS5, I've been playing a little bit of Vanguard. I just recently got it. Like I held
Yeah.
off on buying it,
Don't blame you.
uh, but I've actually been enjoying it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not perfect,
Nah.
obviously. It definitely has flaws, but uh, as far as like gunplay and stuff on there and movement, I mean, I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that aspect of it.
It,
I like the weapons, so been having fun on there. Of course, again, Cody knows this. I'm a 2K
mm-hmm.
head. I'm a my team guy. I love my
Mm-hmm.
team. I have a God squad. If you all were curious, if any of you play 2K, better hope you don't run into me in unlimited because I'm gonna smack you. Uh, but yeah, I've been grinding. I've been grinding 2K. About to hit level 40, get that Dark Matter Ray Allen, the season reward. I'm level 39. I got one level to go.
that's good.
Uh, also, For Honor is about to get crossplay. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if
I
you were
seen
aware
that.
of this code.
I seen
I'm very excited about
that.
that.
Finally get to play on the
Very
PC.
excited. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to playing against the PC community on there. There's a lot of guys I follow on YouTube and Twitch that play on PC that are very good at that game. For all your listeners out there, if you haven't checked out For Honor and you like medieval like fighting games, it's got Knight Samurai, like it's got ancient Chinese warriors. Man, it's got everything you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great game. Very high skill cap. Um, it's the most unique fighting game there is out on the market, and I hope that
That's true.
this cross platform expansion that we're about to get, being able to cross play, I hope that it breathes more life back into the game and brings a lot of people back to the community. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
but what about you, Cody? What you been doing?
Well, I haven't played my PS5 as much, but when I did play it, I played mostly 2K. Didn't really play Vanguard on it. I played mostly PC games. Playing a lot of Apex. Me and a couple buddies have been queuing up ranked on there. And Dalton knows this, but I'm a really big fan of ranked play. Anything that has a ranked play in it, I'm gonna hop into it, and I'm going to be good at it. Like I try my hardest. I'm never in my life have been a casual player. It was always ranked or nothing. That's why when Call of Duty,
He's good at FPS, ladies
that,
and gentlemen. I
that's
can I can vouch
that's
for that.
that's why when Call of Duty kind of I played World War II a lot, and World War II had a rank system in it, and I kind of devoted a lot of my time to playing ranked in there, and I just love to play anything ranked. So I've been playing a lot of Vanguard. My buddy's got me to re-download Apex Legends. We are currently platinum I think getting ready, almost ready to hit diamond, which is the top 25% in the game. And I play on
Very
controller.
nice.
I play on controller on PC. Just to let y'all let that sit in real quick. I'm a controller player playing against PC players. My other two friends are running mouse and keyboard, and I'm the controller player on the team, which is in competitive Apex. That is a requirement. Is two PC players and one controller player, and we've been playing a lot of that. I played Valorant for a while. Was terrible at that game. I will admit that I'm a terrible Valorant player. Play League of Legends here and there, but just I play a lot of Rocket League too. I got back into Rocket League playing it. Currently diamond in that, almost challenger, almost in the top 10% in that game. So it's just I'm a ranked player in every sense of the way. Like if there's a ranked play in the game, I'm gonna hop on it and I'm gonna try my hardest to be good at it. Whether it be a shooter, whether it be Rocket League with cars and a soccer ball, or rather it be League of Legends with like stuff like Legends where you have to click around and QWER with abilities and stuff like that. Like I love. I'm a ranked player at heart. Will always be a ranked player, and it's just crazy to see like the evolution in video games, kind of.
I
Because we grew
I
up
agree.
playing like my first 2K for experience was like, well, this was a college game, but it was College Hoops 2K8. To now see what NBA 2K22 has become is just it's astounding. It's insane. Well, what they've been able to do with those games.
I agree. I agree 100%. The first 2K I ever played was 2K5. I believe AI was on that cover. He was on
Yeah,
like three or
three.
four of them
Yeah, I was gonna
because
say it's a good
AI was
three.
the man. AI was the man back in the day. For all you youngins out there who don't really know much about Allen Iverson, watch watch his mixes on YouTube. Watch the highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Believe the hype because that man was it. He never won a chip. He should have won a chip. Greatest little man that's ever played the game, no question.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Kobe Bryant was quoted as saying once that thank God he's not 6'6",
That would be crazy. Wow.
because we'd all be in trouble if he
Oh
was
yeah.
6'6".
Oh yeah. Going on to another term of basketball though. What do you think about? You're not a big college guy, are you? So you haven't been keeping up with the March Madness and how it started, have you?
I I have not. I can speak on one thing for all of you listening. I'm a huge Coach K fan. He is he's finally throwing in the towel. Uh, Coach K is the goat. I don't care what
Oh
anyone
yeah.
says.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh, you know, I know Kentucky fans like
Mm-hmm.
have they feel a certain type of way about Duke, and I understand why. But you
Yeah.
can't tell me that those games are not always great, and
Mm.
also you can't tell me that Coach K is not one of, if not the greatest college coach
Oh yeah, for
of
sure,
all time.
for sure. He's definitely.
Genius, genius,
And
basketball genius.
if he could end it on a national title, that would be just the icing on top of the cake. But it's a hard road. A lot of good teams this year.
Yeah, yeah. I'm aware of that. That I am aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I haven't been watching games, I know that it's stacked. It's
Mm-hmm.
stacked this year, for sure.
Now I'm a Kentucky Wildcat fan. Obviously born and raised here. Obviously. But so they got the West. It was I think no it was one of the regions where their potential second round matchup could be Murray State, which is another college in Kentucky. And if that happens, that would be the first time in either school, like school history, that Kentucky has played Murray State in anything, like any basketball, organized basketball at all. No non-conference, no nothing. It would be their first time ever playing against each other, and for it to be in the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament, that would be crazy to see.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
All right. Any closing thoughts about any of the things we talked about?
Uh, well, I'll close it out with this. For all the listeners out there, hopefully you've enjoyed our little spiel tonight. Be prepared for more. If you're a fan, definitely check us out again. This is going to be a weekly podcast,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I'm excited about it. I enjoy good conversation. I enjoy talking about these things, so I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yep, me too. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, the very first episode of this podcast. Hopefully, many more to come. Hopefully, some crazy things go down. More 60-point games, more, more NFL, more college. A good video game comes up that we could talk about. Anything like that. Anything that would be cool. Heck, who knows? Tomorrow, anything could happen. Tomorrow brings anything. Who knows? We could see
Right.
Westbrook getting benched. We could see a 70-point game. We could see a video game. We could see more leaks about Modern Warfare 2, the next Call of Duty, which we did not bring up in this, but we will definitely bring up in the next episode because I was such a fan of Modern Warfare 2, and I'm so glad to see the leaks coming out of what's happening. But you all will have to wait for the next episode to see that. So we'll see you all in the next episode.